Alright, here we are back at this fireplace thing. Attempt now is to get the insert mounted into this brick fireplace. So my first idea was to take 2x6s, build up around it, and then screw those 2x6s into the brick using this carbide bit to drill a hole and this anchor, screw anchor, concrete anchor to hold it in. But because this brick is so old, when I drilled a hole and then screwed it in, it just pulls right out. Same thing on the other side where I tried it in mortar. Just goes right in and pulls right out. So back to the old drawing board. And what I want to do now is get pieces and screw them in this way to the mantle, and then place on the face of those a piece of plywood with a hole cut out of it that I will then be able to mount the insert in. So, new approach, new day, let's give it a shot. Yeah, okay, so what are we doing now? I don't really know. We have just cut some wood to make the hearth. I guess not the hearth, maybe it is the hearth. Is it the mantle? I don't know what it is. This wood base there. So that we can then sit the frame that we're going to attach the plywood to, that the fire insert is going to sit in. So now we're going to drill that in, and we're going to attach the frame. Then we're going to try and, oh shit, I don't know. Then we're going to try and get a piece of plywood and cut a hole out of it so that it'll be a nice place for the insert to sit. So, here we are. Got this big piece of plywood. I'm going to see if it fits in this hole where I've taken these 2x2s and screwed them to the wood rather than trying to attach them to the brick. So, this is going to go in there, hopefully. Once we screw it in, we're going to get a level line on it so we know that the insert we put in will be level. And that's assuming that this thing fits. So, kind of a moment of truthy here. Boom! Like a glove. I'd say that it's nice when that happens the first time, but it didn't. This is the second time I had to take it back and trim it off. So, but second's better than third. So, I've got this thing in here, which is good. And now I'm trying to draw where the hole is supposed to be, which has proven a little more difficult than I thought, just because I want it to be perfect, and things are very rarely perfect. So what I've decided to do after a lot of mess ups, as you can see from these different lines on here, is I've got the top line, and I've got what I think are the edges. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sit plywood on the floor, put the insert on top of it like it would sit in there, and draw a box around it, which if you do this, I recommend you do that as well, because measuring it out turned to be just a lot more connecting the dots than I wanted it to be. So let's see how that works. Well, okay, so I sat the thing down and lined it up so there was like a 1/4 inch of space in between the wall and the line, like I calculated it to be, and then just drew a line along the bottom to connect, and that should be good. Gonna take it downstairs now and cut a hole in it, come back, screw it in, and everything's gonna fit perfectly, just like it always does. So we're back down here and cutting this board up. So I've already cut 3 of the cuts, 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna do the third. And a lot of people call this a plunge cut. It's where you take the blade and you plunge it into the wood rather than starting at the edge. So you get your saw, and then make sure that your front notch is lined up on your line, just like you would with the standard cut, and watch to see where your blade is going to plunge into the wood. Once you have them both lined up on the same line, and then stop when your line stops, so that you don't, of course, cut more than you're opening. Seems to be going pretty well. Usually because of the way the blade curves, you don't cut through the wood entirely, so you have to flip it over and do the corners so that they'll match up. But I'm almost done with it, so I'll finish up and show you how it looks when I'm done. Okay, so we just finished tipping off the corners, and what we end up with is a hole here that we really hope our insert's going to fit in. So let's go find out if it does. Alright, so we're back up here now. I have my beautiful assistant, Brielle Bradley, filming for me. That's always a pleasure. And we've stuck our hole in our hole. So we're now going to see if our insert fits. Oh, we're all open, so it should fit pretty well. Looks pretty good. What we don't have yet is we don't have the fireplace chimney brick trimmed away enough so that this will fit all the way back flush. But when it does, I think this will be just fine. So we'll start with that, screw this in, start trimming away, get this screwed in flush in our next video. See you then. Okay, so we are screwing in our board that is going to hold our insert. So just do one screw, usually about one a foot, maybe one every 18 inches. And when that's in, we will start chipping away at the brick in the back to make sure we have enough clearance to get the insert screwed in. So we'll check back then. And boom! Trimmed away that rock. That's a job. That's a job. Fit great. Put the trim on. Looks like a real fireplace now. I think we're going to call it a done deal for this part of the project. And looks like we got some paint and some tile to do. We'll see when that gets done. And just so you can see, this is what it looks like when it turns on. We can dim it down and turn the heat on. So running well. Pretty happy about it. Nothing like a job well done. Not that this is super well done, but it's as well done as I can DIY do it. Thanks for sticking with me, as always.